Hi, so this is the beginning of my water blaster project. I have this old Briggs and Stratton, well, it's not actually that old, it's from 2003, I think, Briggs and Stratton flathead engine. I've just fully serviced it, so new oil, filter, new spark plug, stuff like that, and it runs pretty good. So I'm going to combine that motor with this pump that I bought online. This is a water blaster pump. It's designed to be vertically mounted and it has a 7/8 inch shaft. And I also have a hose, a water blaster gun and lance with the tips and stuff in this bag. I've had this engine laying around on my shelf up there for a number of years, so I think it's finally time to use it for something. And I'm going to use the steel from the seat to make like a frame for the water blaster. Just like a little square thing for the engine to sit on, some legs, something like that. And yeah, then I can finally clean the house up. It's not too bad here, but like, could do with a bit of a clean. And some of the wood is starting to go dirty again. We water blasted this a few years ago. We rented one. And it'll be nice to clean everything up again. And especially the deck up here. The deck up here is pretty disgusting. We have this little water blaster. It's an electric one that was like 90 bucks from Bunnings we got like 5-6 years ago. And it's great for washing cars, but it isn't quite powerful enough to do anything else. Let me get started on this project. So I busted up this chair, cut the legs off, bent that to a 90-degree angle, and this will be my frame. So I'll put like a piece of plywood or some planks or whatever I can find, what I have laying around, mount the engine there. And then the hose will go out the back because the pump actually protrudes, I think, ever so slightly behind it. So I don't want anything, if it gets butted up against the wall, I don't want it to get, damaged. So that's why I could probably use that as a stop. And then up here, I'll straighten out to a 90-degree angle perhaps, and then put a board up here. Then I can have a jar or something or a container mounted to put the nozzles and bits in, and somewhere to hang the hose. It's a couple hours later, and I've mostly finished the frame. You can quite obviously tell it used to be a seat, but that's alright. So as a summary, I cut the seat down to a height that is just slightly taller than the actual pump. I've added these pieces, front and back. This one I had to extend because it wasn't long enough. I'm trying to do this on a budget, so because I got these seats for free. They were going to go into the skip anyway. I've added some welds for reinforcement because there were no welds there from the factory. So just as a general idea, the engine will be like that. This thing's bloody heavy. Oh crap, can't really lift it with one hand. Just did some woodwork, moved all the woodworking tools outside because I don't want all the dust getting in here. And here's the frame. It actually looks like a seat. Could probably actually sit on it comfortably. Anyway, engine will go here. I've already marked out the hole. The only problem is, as you can see, the sump protrudes below the mounting flange, whatever you will call it. So you need a hole like that on the bottom. So I'll cut out a big circle, but I don't want to compromise too much strength. And I also want it to look nice, so I'll put this piece of aluminium that I found. Don't know where I got it from, but seems to work. Change of plan. I took the wood off because it looks too much like a seat. Plus it was really hoary. The wood was actually too thick, so my bolts that I already had, these ones were not long enough, and I'm not prepared to go out to buy more bolts. So I'm just gonna switch to a thinner piece. Ideally, I could use plywood. This would be perfect, but I don't have enough of it laying around. But then I just remembered I might have something I could use, and it's outside. I'll show you. It's over here in the dark. I have this range hood cover, and I've got some pieces of aluminium in the garden too. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it here for tonight. Already painted it black, so when I come back tomorrow morning, it should be dry enough to work on. It's about midday the next day, and I've already started converting this range hood cover, whatever thing this is, into a platform for the motor to sit on. I've cut this part off, used to be like that, and I've folded it in so it doesn't have any sharp edges. And I think it should work pretty well. The only thing is, it's not quite long enough, so I might have to overlap another sheet from that end. Just finished the top where the motor will sit on, and it's strong enough. I just overlapped another piece down there. Also added some sealant because it's probably unnecessary, but makes me uncomfortable with the gaps. Piece of wood underneath, to reinforce it. Also sealant. And now all that's left is to cut a hole here for the engine and paint it black. Probably add some hooks for a hose up here, maybe a container to put all the tips and stuff, and a throttle, because I don't really want to use the throttle on the front, although that's fine. I have a cable, I might as well use it. So yeah, just a few bits and bobs and it should be ready to use. There we go. Motor, well, it's not mounted yet, but it goes into the hole. As you can see, I had to cut out a funny looking shape, and then the motor will just bolt on from those studs. That one's just upside down because I can't get it in from the top. I'll see which way works. I'm going to take this all off and then I'm going to paint it black. Then I'm going to go have lunch and come back. Okay, all done, and I've played around with the governor for about probably close to an hour, and because it was revving really high, let me just turn this off before I get a copyright. It was revving really high, and it was staying too high when I let off the gun. So after stretching the governor spring, it will now return back to an idle. Well, not an idle, but a reasonable rev with the throttle fully open. So yeah, let me give you a demonstration. Now I'm just going to press it up, put a hook on the back to hook the hose, and just hook up some tubes for the discharge pipe, stuff like that. Just some finishing touches. It's the next evening. I went to a Morris Minor car show today, so didn't have the chance to work on it today. I've done some stuff since last time. I've made a holder for the gun and lance and a hook to hang the hose. This is just from scrap I already had laying around. That's from a chair. I put a hose on the chemical injection port. I don't know if it's supposed to be gravity fed or if it can just be sucked in from a bucket. I'm not too sure, but I'll figure something out. Also put a hose to a discharge. Not that that really matters, but just so it looks nice. And yeah, put some labels and stuff on it. Just a note for myself in the future. But yeah, let me go test it out and demonstrate for you. Just put a full tank of gas in it. Last time I was actually water blasting the stairs over there and ran out of gas. Only had about a quarter tank plus all the testing on top of it. So yeah, I don't know how much this tank holds. I'd probably say about a litre or so maybe. But yeah, it should last a decent while. Right, let's start it up. So never started up without the water. It's on run. Climb it. Hose is a bit leaky. Also rotated the starter around because it was on the other side. Let's see if it'll start. Nice, I'll be back. There we go. It's a bit difficult to start, but it's going now. Let's test it out on these hoary stairs. Well, they're not too bad, but still. Rotate the tip. The governor does surge a bit, but it's better than before. At least it'll maintain a constant RPM, so that's okay. just about concludes this project. I'm very, very happy with it. Thanks for watching.